Ladies and gentlemen, from New York City, Joe Garagiola.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, here. Out here. Yeah, say hello to my new friend. See, her name is Robin, and she's part grizzly and really friendly, part Syrian, almost 1 year old. And I tell you the truth, I'm not going to fool with her when she gets a little older. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's meet the panel, Robin. Come on, I'll put you down here, and here comes the panel.
Here is Nipsey Russell. Kitty Carlisle. Kitty.
One more close-up, and then we're going to let you go backstage. Isn't she something, huh? Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Here's the sugar. All right. Come on. Come on, Robin. Let's go, and then I'm going to come back. All right. Okay. Come on.
They're going away?
Okay. There she is. Ha ha. Isn't that great?
Fantastic. Yes, but
Huh? Fantastic.
Pretty pussycat.
how old?
1 year old. 1 year old. Hey, let's say hello to our regulars, Carlisle and Cullen, as we always do.
That's right.
Yes. And we say hello to pretty Pat Collins, who is with us today. Pat, good to have
Hello.
you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
And you know I had to save Nipsey for last because I'll guarantee you he's got a poem about you-know-what. You got a poem? You got to have a poem about bears.
Yes.
See?
I bought myself a little pet bear. He follows behind me everywhere. People are saying Nipsey is losing his mind. He's all over town with his bear behind.
Okay. Great, Nipsey. That gets us off to a great start. Well, as you suspected, our first guest today is part of a trained act in the circus, and let's meet him right now.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Wally Norton Jr.
Number 2,
My name is Wally Norton Jr.
and number 3.
My name is Wally Norton Jr.
You gotta believe all three of them, and we got a monitor right down there, and that's where they were looking. My name is Wally Norton Jr. Good going, guys. Okay, here's what Wally Norton Jr. has to say about bears. I, Wally Norton Jr., am the world's youngest animal trainer. The animals I train are bears. I got into the act accidentally when I was 2 years old, and my parents couldn't find a babysitter. So in order to keep an eye on me, they just put me on a bicycle with a bear. I now appear with my parents in their act, the world's largest display of uncaged performing bears. Take a look, and here you see my father teaching a young cub to somersault. And they're also taught to do handstands. Now, all the bears in the troop seem to delight in wearing their costumes. And here you see my father dressing some of the older bears. Now, their tricks include riding motorcycles, doing rollover somersaults, and even juggling a tube with fire at either end. Not only are the bears I work with uncaged, but the circus I travel with is a real reminder of circuses past. I tour with the Circus Vargas, the world's largest under-canvas circus. Signed, Wally Norton Jr. Okay, we're going to have some fun, but first we listen to these messages, okay?
The costumes are fake, but the deals are real. Let's make a deal. Returning tomorrow night at 7:30, only on Buzzr.
It's exhausting.
Newest member of the Naughton Bear Act in the Circus Vargas, and we're going to start with you, Kitty Carlisle.
Number one, how old are you now?
I'm 10 years old.
And number two, are you 10?
Yes.
Do you go to school?
Yes.
Are you taught at home, or do you really go to a school?
Oh, I'm taught at the circus.
At the circus. Yes. And number three, are you 10?
Yes.
Was that your mother who was doing somersaults with the bear in the film we just saw?
Yes, that was my father.
It looked like a lady.
I mean, that was my mother.
That was your mother. That's what I thought. And number two, when you were put on the bicycle with the bear, do you remember that incident when you were 2 years old?
No.
Oh, so you don't know whether you were frightened or not?
No, I don't.
Number one, do you really train the bears yourself?
No, my father helps me train him.
Number three, what is your act then?
Say that again?
What do you do in the circus?
Well, you want the bears?
What you do with the bears?
We help the bears ride motorcycles.
Uh-huh.
And then we help them do roll-over somersaults.
Uh-huh. Thank you. Number two, you don't do an act with the bears.
Buzzr, let's go to Bill Cullen.
Number two, does your father look like your mother? That was your father also in the picture that we saw, number two. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, number two, were you ever afraid of bears?
Yes, I was.
Are you still afraid of some bears?
No, not really.
Are all bears safe, number two?
Some are safe and some aren't.
Number one, I want to ask you a question about what's going on backstage. Backstage, there's either a bear coughing or attacking someone. Can you tell me what that is going on back there?
I think it's a bear, I'm not sure.
Sounds more like one of our staff members to me.
Let's go to Pat Collins.
Number two, other than Joe's hand, what does that cute little bear eat ordinarily?
Well, for treats we give it dog biscuits, but it eats fruits and vegetables.
No meat?
No.
No. Now, has a bear ever turned on you, number two? Has anything dangerous happened to you?
Yes, a bear once scratched me.
How did that happen?
I turned my back on the bear, and it scratched me on the back.
Is that a rule number three, never turn your back on a bear?
Not really.
No. No. Is it? Do you feel, really safe with the bears around?
No.
No. In other words, you're living in terror all the time. Well, I don't blame you. I would be. And number one, at what age do the bears get their teeth?
Around a month or two, they start to come.
Wow.
And number three looks like somebody threw a hat up and he just walked under it, doesn't he? He's the greatest. Now, let's go to Nipsey. Nipsey.
Number one, what's the place in a circus where they keep the animals called?
In a truck.
In a truck. Number two, the restroom is called by different names in different places. Like in the Army, it's called latrine. What do they call the restroom on a circus lot? Do you know? Number two?
Bathroom.
Yes. Number three is anything you'd like to avoid telling.
No.
What?
That's it, Nipsey. The game is over. With the answer of truck and bathroom, we now must go to voting. They must mark their ballots, no consultation, no changes. Do you think it's number one? Or do you think it's number two? Or do you think it is number three?
The
$500 if all the votes are wrong. Kitty, you got it started. How did you vote?
Well, it's obvious, absolutely obvious to me. It's got to be number three. He's the smartest one. He's got the most sense. He was the one who said he was very frightened around bears. And he's right.
Okay.
Who wouldn't be?
Bill Cullen.
Number three's answers, as far as I know, were absolutely right, but I don't think I'll ever find out. I voted for number one. He has a professional circus approach to this entire thing.
Okay. Pat Collins.
Well, I disagree with you two. I think it has to be number 2. I mean, he just looks right. He just has the bearing. Oh, that was so terrible. I'm so sorry about that. Well, don't you agree? I think it's number 2.
Okay, Nipsey, you're the tiebreaker.
You see, number 1 is playing the game with us, and number 3 is a political speech writer. So I went with number 2.
All right. The votes are all in, and we get to ask that great question. Will the real Wally Naughton Jr. please stand up? Oh, he's number 1. He's standing up. Okay. Let's find out who these 2 great imposters are. Number 2, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Anderson Cooper, and I go to Dalton School, and I'm in the 5th grade.
5th grade, okay. Now let's find out about number 3. Number 3, tell us very slowly what your name is and what you do.
My name is Shepard Frankel. I go to PS75, and I'm in the 3rd grade.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you told us slowly. All right, Wally Naughton Jr., thank you very much, and our 2 imposters for playing our game. Thank you very much, fellas.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Frank Coggin.
Number 2.
My name is Frank Coughlin.
And number 3.
My name is Frank Coughlin.
Well, here is Frank Coughlin's water-soaked statement. I, Frank Coughlin, celebrated Memorial Day in an unusual way. I swam beneath the length of the 2 longest suspension bridges in North America on the same day. First, I swam 1 mile from Staten Island to Brooklyn, New York, under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. And then I boarded a plane in my trunks and towel and flew all the way to San Francisco, where I swam under the Golden Gate Bridge for a mile across San Francisco Bay. I thus became the first person ever to swim under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in New York and the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco on the very same day. Signed, Frank Coughlin. And let's start with Pat Collins.
Mr. Coughlin, number 2, why did you do this?
To get to the other side.
All right. Number 3, why did you do this?
Saves bridge tolls.
They've all got good answers. Okay, number 1, why did you do it?
Just felt like doing it.
Number 2, what was the expression on the stewardess's face when you showed up at the airplane with your swimming trunks on?
Amused.
Did anybody come up to you and ask you why you were dressed like this?
Oh, a lot of people standing around looking, talking amongst themselves. It was press agent's gag.
Number 3, what's the difference, if any, in the currents between the waters under the Verrazano Bridge here in the eastern part of the country and in San Francisco Bay?
I think they're probably rougher in the San Francisco side.
You think probably? After swimming it, you don't know for sure?
Oh, I would say San Francisco.
San Francisco is rougher. Number 1, we think of the waters here as being very polluted. Did you have to put anything on your body to protect yourself?
No, I didn't, but it was very, very dirty.
What did you find in the water? Or maybe you shouldn't
debris,
tell us.
a lot of debris in the Brooklyn side.
Uh-oh, the people in Brooklyn are not going to like this.
The Brooklyn folks. Brooklyn folks will get you, number 1.
People from Staten Island.
Nipsey.
Number 2, what stroke did you use in swimming the...
Australian crawl, a little backstroke in San Francisco.
I see. Number 1, on which airline did you travel to San
American
Francisco?
Airlines.
I see. Number 3, when having had some experience in swimming narrow rivers and streams, you can't swim directly across. The current will take you downstream. How much distance did you actually cover swimming the Verrazano Narrows?
Oh, probably half again as much as I normally would cover.
And swimming in still water?
Straight water.
All right. Number 1, do you breathe with every stroke?
No, every other stroke.
Every other stroke. How about you, number 2?
Every other stroke.
In the Australian and the American crawl, can you breathe on the alternate sides?
Well, I breathe over my left shoulder.
You breathe over your left shoulder. You breathe in that little pocket that your head sets up when you swim the crawl stroke?
Right. Tuck it under the shoulder.
I see. Okay, number 3. Did you do any floating or resting?
No.
Were you accompanied by a boat of any kind?
Yes.
Number 1,
Well, that means we go to Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, you said it was number 2. I'm sorry, number 2. You said it was a press agent's gag.
The bathing suit on the airplane, right?
Well, now, what were you doing it for then, aside from the funny answer you gave first?
Well, American Airlines sort of got involved in it, and little publicity and so forth. But I wore a suit on the plane, too.
I see. Because, number 1, wouldn't the air conditioning on the plane have made you catch a terrible cold?
I covered with towels.
And number 3, now tell me something. The pollution is really bad in the river under the Verrazzano Bridge, isn't it?
Well, I didn't think it was that bad.
You didn't? Well, you weren't afraid of hepatitis?
No.
And you didn't take any shots beforehand?
No.
And number 1, you emerged perfectly healthy from this ordeal?
Yes, I did.
Did you get in the Guinness Book of Records?
I think they're putting that in, yes.
And was that part of the reason you did it?
No.
Number 2, what is your ordinary job?
Insurance sales.
And number 3?
Insurance broker.
And you, number 1?
I'm an insurance broker.
And yeah, but why did you want to do this for the Book of Records?
Just felt like doing it.
Let's go to Bill Cullen.
Number 1, do you have a policy on your life?
Yes, I do. Several.
And does that policy take care, seriously, number 1, of something like this, which is an attempt to do the unusual? Would you, for instance, had you gone down on either of these swims, would your heirs have been taken care of?
Extenuating circumstances.
Extenuating circumstances.
That's right.
Number 3, I have explicitly on my policy, it says that it is payable upon my death unless I drown under either the Verrazzano or the Golden Gate Bridge. No, seriously, number 3, don't insurance companies go to work trying to keep many reasons in a policy so they don't have to pay?
If that's true, I'd find a new broker.
Are you in the brokering business, number 3?
Right.
I mean, you're available.
Absolutely.
Are you married, number 3?
Yes.
What's your wife think about this?
Oh, she thinks it's great.
I mean, she never called you a nut or anything like that?
Several times.
I mean, for this purpose, number 3.
Well, that means the game's over. The bell indicates our game is over. They must vote. Do you think it's number 1? Or do you think it's number 2? Or do you think it's number 3? Boy, they really got their heads together up in our audience up there. Pat Collins, you got us started. How did you vote?
I voted for number 2 because number 1 and number 3 both look as if they spent this last summer weekend indoors. I won't begin to think of what they were doing indoors, but number 2 looks like he was out in the outside world swimming on both sides of the country.
Okay. Nipsey.
Well, I once tried to swim the Ohio River at a narrow part, what I thought was a narrow part when I was in school in Cincinnati. And you go nearly 5 miles downstream trying to swim a half mile across the river, so I eliminated number 3. Number 2 knew the strokes, but number 1 looks in condition.
Okay. Kitty.
Yes, I think you may be right. They were all very good, but I voted for number 3. I thought he had a kind of calm, serene air that would do that sort of thing.
All right. Bill, you're going to be the tiebreaker.
Well, I'm going along with Kitty, and my reason is much the same as Kitty. He sounds like he's fielded these questions before, like people have asked him, you know, what does his wife say and things like that. So he seemed experienced. I voted for him.
Okay, all the votes are in.
Wow,
So now we ask that great question. Will the real Frank Coughlin please stand up? Okay, let's find out who the imposters are now. Number 1, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Sam Brody, and I'm an artist and photographer's representative.
There you are. Number 2, what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Joseph Reed. I'm a real estate investor from Paradise Valley, Arizona.
Aha. Frank, let me ask you, how did you prepare for this? Is this the biggest swim you've ever taken?
Oh, no. I've swam 10 miles across Lake Tahoe, and we swim in San Francisco Bay frequently.
Yeah, that's cold
Alcatraz
water,
and
Lake Tahoe.
Did you, were you specially prepared in any way? I mean, did you coat yourself with oil or whatever they do, or did you just...
I have a lot of natural installation, as you can see.
Well, let me ask you something. All that exercise, did you lose any of your natural insulation while you were swimming?
I lost 3 or 4 pounds. And of course, that day, the 2 scales were the same.
What's your next big project? Or do you have one on this?
Well, I hope to do this eventually accompanied by a great-grandchild.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations for making it and doing it, and we look forward to when you do it with your grandchild. Thank you for playing our game. Thank you, our 2 imposters. Thank you very much.
Next on Lost and Found, Michael Flatley is Lord of the Truth on To Tell the Truth. Then Chips actress Brian Leary blanks as a contestant on Match Game.
And he said, well, how could you do that? She said, I married the man. That's the way you do it. So long, everybody.
In addition to the cash awards, our first team of challengers will receive fashion jewelry from Sarah Coventry, who has jewelry for every occasion. You see the jewelry with fashion know-how at a Sarah Coventry Home Fashion Show. And our second team will receive Turtle Wax, the world's largest selling liquid car wax. Cleans, polishes, protects in one easy operation. Turtle Wax with a hard shell finish. Circus Vargas film, furnished by Media Vision Incorporated. This is Alan Coulter speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.